Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back for those participants who were also with us on the info day on the accelerator topic related to resilient agriculture. And welcome to the new participants as well who are very interested in the Pathfinder challenge that we have on precision nutrition. Today will be the explanation of the precision nutrition topic by our program manager, Ivan Stefanic. And so he will explain everything related to the challenge. We will not explain the general application process on how to submit proposals in Pathfinder. If you are looking for this type of information, we want to refer you to the information day that has been held on the 13th of December and which has been recorded. And there you can look at all that type of information. With this, I want to hand over to Ivan, who will present you the information about the Pathfinder Challenge.
Thank you very much, Anne-Marie. Let me share my slides. Okay, just to check, I hope you see it in presentation mode.
Yes.
Perfect. Topic of this session is Pathfinder Challenge Precision Nutrition. So this one and Accelerator Challenge, Novel Technologies for Resilient Agriculture, actually are a perfect match. It is about accelerator to provide system change to produce high quality food, and then this one to see what's going on with us and do we really have appropriate nutrition. This is our agenda. For first 25 minutes, I will talk about challenge and EIC proactive management. Then we will have a 30-minute session, question and answers. Then we have a pitch session that was for alls, but we have only 6 registered participants. They will present their pitches in this order. New microalgae strain as a first, second is welcome to, third is APREM, fourth is INRAE, fifth Staten Serum Institute, and sixth one is hologenomics. After that, we will have 5 minutes closing remarks by Anne-Marie Sassen and myself, and hopefully after answering all your questions, having pitches, we will end this session sometime around 5:07. The goal of this info day is to help you to align your proposal with parameters of this challenge call. It is to provide all relevant information, clarify doubts, and prevent you from making unnecessary mistakes. And certainly not to provide individual feedback. Is it your proposal in line and appropriate for this challenge call, or should be considered for open call? This is your decision. Housekeeping rules, you know, the session is recorded. Recording would be available afterwards. You can submit your questions via Slido, and then we will answer them during question and answer session. And let's start just a brief overview what EIC can do for knowledge-based entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial researchers. We have 3 big programs. First is Pathfinder for low TRL levels, grants from 3 to 4 million euros. Pathfinder. After successful graduation, you might apply to transition. It is more scaling up, preparing commercialization. Again, for research institutions, consortia, grant up to 2.5 million euros. The third one is already for SMEs, single applicants can apply for grants or blended financing, considerable blended financing, grant up to 2.5 million and equity up to 15 million, which is supposed to be matched by private sources at least 1-to-1. But this is not all. It is difficult to anticipate everything at the beginning and expect everything would run smoothly up to the end after a couple of years. So we have small programs which would make this wheel spinning faster, more efficient. Booster grants for Pathfinder, tech-to-market services for transition, and business acceleration services for accelerator. And then let's talk about proactive management. First level of proactive management is that we have for each of those programs open calls. So you apply something which is in the domain of your competences. You find that important, you apply research. Top-down approach is challenge. That is where we need you. So you are moving out of your comfort zone, you are reshaping consortia to accommodate specific goals of the challenge. And then there is considerable financing, more than 1.6 billion euros this year. And then let's talk about challenges. This year we have more challenges than previous year. And those challenges would be valid for 23. Next year, we would have new set of challenges, which is important to emphasize. It's not they are more important, but they are relevant for you. It is 32.7 million euro challenge, Pathfinder challenge precision nutrition, and 65 million euro challenge novel technologies for resilient agriculture. The next level of proactive management is support by EIC program manager, and I would talk about that a little bit later. This is where we go beyond the scope of each individual project, because all grantees in this particular challenge call are considered as a portfolio members. And it is expected from them to cooperate, to produce quality they cannot produce on their own, which can be produced only by cooperation, joining resources, joining strengths, achieving goals which are not obvious right now. And we have a lot of time to do that during the project implementation. So our role oversees thematic sectors, developing challenge goals, and content-wise management of sector-specific portfolios. So I already mentioned we have challenge portfolios, but we also have thematic portfolios, which are not related to particular challenge. Let's introduce challenges. We would like to introduce new cutting-edge directions in science and technology. But already from the very beginning with a clear idea that would end up on the market as an innovation. What kind of innovation? One capable of disrupting market, create new opportunities, realizing innovative technology solutions grounded in high risk, high gain research and development. And then finally, establish a portfolio of projects which are actually transformative alliances, which are supposed to change the sector. And we have a role in that. We are facilitating that for our topics. Summary. I guess it would be a lot of questions on, shall I apply to challenge or open call? Comparing both calls in one table actually would answer a lot of those questions. And if you ask yourself and compare open and challenge call, you could actually answer a lot of questions yourself. So let's see. Amount, more or less equal. Size of the grant, more on challenge side. 100% both sides. different application deadlines. If you are for open, better be ready on March 7th at 5 p.m. If you are about challenge, then you have much more time to design consortium and prepare application. Length of proposal, more or less similar. Composition of consortia, somewhat different. So consider those things before making decision for what call you would like to apply. Let's talk about silver bullets in nutrition. Are they actually any silver bullet? You have one single partial solution you have to fix, and suddenly the food is not only safe and enough, but it's also meeting all your needs and you are leading healthy life. Sorry, there is no such thing like silver bullet in nutrition. Like in agriculture, I'm using agricultural matrix just as a demo. So there are many things we need to improve. But when we analyze agriculture, which is heavily dependent on fossil fuel and chemical protection, it is difficult to produce healthy food. In many cases, food is enough in terms of calorie, but is depleted from nutrients and actually does not meet our needs. Implementing such a nutrition in a longer period of time could lead to develop of various food-related health conditions and non-communicable chronic diseases. And then all those moving parts in beyond the matrix are actually telling us by forcing one solution, you might deteriorate the other. So pay attention to all interactions between those boxes. Do not push for the project which would have detrimental effects on neighboring boxes. Pay attention to holistic approach and life cycle approach. This is what we had so far in agri-food sector till 22. More than 120 applications. You see mostly accelerators. When it comes to Pathfinder, only 2. When it comes to transition, 1. And by having dedicated program manager for food and agri-tech, things in 2023 are about to improve considerably. We have now dedicated slot of 32.7 million euros for challenge precision nutrition. So it is reasonable to expect we would have more applications in food and agri-tech. Researchers expressed most interest in food processing and packaging, and quality of food and beverage is definitely a very important one. But challenge calls could be just anywhere. In 23, they're going to be here at the nutrition, traceability, and this is what we are talking today. If you don't fit to this particular box, you can still consider open calls and you should apply there. Let's talk about precision nutrition. I already mentioned it is designed using holistic approach, life cycle approach. It has in mind to foster EU technological autonomy and leadership with an account of EU strategic plans and relevant initiatives. What is it all about? To investigate and provide scientific evidence of the role of diet in food-related health conditions and non-communicable chronic diseases. Why? Yeah, almost 2 billion people globally are overweight or obese. On the other hand, we have more than 800 million which are malnutrition, and more than 8 million would die to hunger. Then, yes, we live longer, but amount of chronic diseases is significant, and that deteriorate quality of life. And then, so far, we had a simple philosophy, one diet plan fits all, which is actually isn't working well. And then there is a lot of talks about personalized nutrition, but at the level of population of 8 billion, that's very difficult when it comes to feasibility, and it is expensive. So we find precision nutrition as a solution in the middle ground. Improve well-being of most of the individuals while reducing aggregate costs. Let me put that into graph. One size fits all doesn't work. Personalized is difficult to achieve, so let's do precision, stratified. And then how to do that? So far, researchers from genetics, epigenetics, microbiome, and glycome, we're working in their respective areas. Cooperating, but not so much. Our idea is to bring them together, make their research more complex, which with more profound impact on dietary recommendations. Before proposing that, of course, every program manager is supposed to do a serious horizon scan. This is patent analysis in this particular area, done in 22. And it is clear, microbiome and nutrition is booming when it comes to patents. Microbiome and glycan, yeah, on the rise as well. And then glycan and nutrition. But when you check where are European Union member states, yeah, you should go lower on the rank. And then there is a European representation with Germany, France, Spain, and I think it's Portugal, and it's more or less the same. So Europe is not leading that research. And we estimate that as an important topic, which powerful capacity to be later commercialized. Background and scope. So I apologize for those slides. They are not my style slides, but there are some legal requirements. Those are inserts from our work program. It is about, not to read, but tell, one size fits all doesn't really work. And then there is many things we do actually to make things worsen. And definitely, if it's tasty, yeah, then it's most likely not healthy. It is indulging cravings on behalf on your health. With this challenge, we will fund only multidisciplinary research proposals that include at least nutritional, microbiome, and glycan research aspect. The research focus could be on one or more challenge-specific objectives. So what we are expecting from our applicants: to investigate the interactions among nutrition, human gut microbiome, and glycans beyond state of the art. But we are fully aware that response is highly individual, and it is difficult to get subjects to observational studies for several years. So we encourage the integration of observational studies, randomized controlled trials, and mechanistic studies in animal models with machine learning approach to achieve more in less time. And then it is about ensuring long-term sustainability of current food production system, and it is reasonable to expect that additional food sources should be considered and human diet recommendations revised. Our researchers should contribute to that. Of course, all proposals are expected to meet all regulatory approval procedures by European Food and Safety Authority. So the ultimate goal is investigate the role of diet in obesity and non-communicable diseases to provide scientific evidence for alleviating the consequences of obesity and NCDs on health and well-being, and to pave the way toward design of novel foods tailored to individual dietary needs, with reserved allocation of earlier mentioned 32.7 million euros. Okay, Investigate, provide scientific evidence. Specific objectives are, and this is very important part of the presentation. Investigate causal relationship among diet microbiome and glycans with potential impact on personalizing human diet. Identify food ingredients, food technology processes, additives, and dietary patterns that have negative effect on human health and aging. Identify food ingredients, technology, additives that have beneficial effect to human health and aging. Develop recommendations for the reformulation of new food products and processor with no or fewer additives. And by doing that, we expect to make this possible. Eat better, prevent or alleviate the consequences or negative aspects of poor nutrition. And in the long run, we are expecting recommendations which will serve as a basis for development of novel food and processes, which might improve the effect even more in the long run. Okay, up to this point, that was it. Evaluation is based on excellence of your proposal, implementation, and impact. But Pathfinder challenge goals are different. In step 2, we apply new set of rule named portfolio consideration. Let me explain that in more details. Of course, you would find more details in the whole document available here. Presentation and recording would be available later, so please check your basic literature for studying before making your application is EIC Work Program 23 and Challenge Guide for Pathfinder calls. Of course, info day recording for general type of applications and info day for sector-specific challenges. Okay, in this challenge, committee would do preliminary mapping of proposals based on following categories. Food-related health conditions such as not limited to obesity and malnutrition, and non-communicable chronic diseases such as but not limited to diabetes and hypertension. And then, evaluation committee will aim to compose a balanced portfolio covering a wider range of those conditions and NCDs. If I have to put that in different words, I would say it is highly unlikely if 10 best projects are all focused on diabetes, they most likely won't get financing because they are about same topic with marginal differences in execution. So let's check portfolio building approach. Those are categories, this time with more examples. But please be aware, those are examples only, and we are not limited to this list of examples. In both cases, for food-related health conditions on NCDs. Which is important to build a portfolio is complementarity among projects or shared component. Those shared components could be course of action or technological approach. Course of actions, ingredients, processes, additives. Technology approach, methodology applied, omics analysis. Let's see that in more details. Let's investigate course of action. So food ingredients, again, couple of examples, but please be aware we are not limited to those examples. It is up to you to decide what ingredients you would work with. Processes, again, samples only. It's your decision what processes you're going to apply. And food additives. There is an EFSA list of E numbers. Check. Maybe something outside of the list is also worth it to be explored and included in the proposal. Technological approach. This is an important one. We know response is individual. It's difficult to get subjects to long-term diet to be investigated. So combine your observational studies and randomized controlled trials with machine learning approach. Learn from large number of participants and large data sets already available. And then we already said we would like to see genomics, microbiome, and glycans, but you can add additional things. Reinforce your case and make a cut to a challenge goal. All projects getting a grant should include in their application a special work package dedicated for portfolio activities equaling 10 person months. You will decide and refine that initial proposal later during grant negotiation process. But what's done in portfolio activities? It is activities which are of joint interest to improve current regulatory framework. It is about effective communication with all relevant stakeholders or even general public to make promotion of the project. It is about market analysis, targeting players, discovering, preparing commercialization. Bear in mind, you are still far away from commercialization. Very successful, very advanced applications could make a quick transition, not to transition program, but they could apply directly to accelerator. But that would depend on the results achieved. Then discussion on IP, and IP is really important in this domain. And then open access test beds, standardization activities, and already exploring access to markets through multiplier networks like Enterprise Europe Network, which is the most powerful business network on the planet. It is important to mention, if you don't include this work package in your application and you got granted, you should find those 10 person months from other work packages. So bear in mind not to forget. This is about procedure. After selection, grant negotiation, refining work packages on portfolio activities. After kickoff meeting, portfolio meetings and implementation of portfolio activities. You notice I'm not talking about work packages related to implementation of your project. This is normal, expected, you're going to do that. But this part is really where you work together with other projects and you go beyond the scope of your individual project. You achieve quality and results you cannot achieve on your own. Let's talk why we really need EIC programs. I could give you 11 reasons. It is about state-of-the-art evaluation. You know, every feedback is a gift. And you might have a decent application, but it's easy to make some honest mistakes. Getting feedback is important so you can improve. And we are not nasty. We are allowing resubmissions. We are letting you know from your mistake. It is grant. It is additional small grants, possibly several times in several programs, which would make your project running better, faster, smoother, having bigger reach. If you decide to accelerator, there is considerable blended financing component. So you are getting grant up to 2.5 million euros, but you are entitled to apply for equity financing up to 15 million euros. And bear in mind that that's supposed to be matched by private sources, at least 1-to-1, And in some cases, that goes even 1 to 3. So after successful accelerator, you are not only pony, you are actually halfway centaur. It is considerable. And this is actually perfectly describing what kind of clients we are asking. Disruptive, fast-growing, ambitious. And they need serious equity financing. Then you get guidance and support by PMs. And what experience taught us, research consortia, regardless of how competent and skilled and experienced are, they are paying attention mostly to their own projects. Rarely they watch on the outside of the box. So yes, PM could facilitate that greatly and help you achieve much more. It is about visibility, promotion, and networking, access to many things, usually not accessible to guys operating out of their garage or only with national financing. It is really about increased credibility with possible investors. It is a special attention to women entrepreneurs. And then, as I said, we are not mean. We are letting you to learn from your mistake and reapply in the next cutoff date. It is about seal of excellence for all those who are not granted, but they are find fit for other schemes. So this is first class recommendation, and it is about fast track procedure. So the purpose of this Innovation Day is not only to give what you should do and what you shouldn't do, it is also to inspire you to endure. We know it's a long process, it requires certain preparation, and it usually takes more than you expected, it takes longer. But bear in mind deadlines. You should be in time with our deadlines. And I hope you're going to endure and apply and help us change the sector. And you are in capable hands. Those are jury members, project officer, program managers who would take care of your application. And let me finish in an inspirational way. Let me show you in 18 seconds video how it works, how a research institution, research consortia could change the sector. You start with small grant, business booster grant. You get Pathfinder, you make a cut to portfolio, switch to transition, accelerator, get blended financing. And suddenly, something which started with 50K could change the multi-billion euro sector. Here are additional sources you should definitely study before going any further with the application. They'll be available in recording as a presentation. And then this is a background slide for our discussion question and answer session. Question and answer session would be moderated by Esther Iacovelli from EO1 unit in charge of Pathfinder. By saying that, Esther, I'm giving floor to you.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be here with you, Ivan, and hopefully with many of you that are following this info day, as we don't really have a feedback, so it's a bit strange for us here. So, but we're receiving questions, so this is a good sign. Let me read the first question that we have in Slido. Can single entities or consortia of 2 entities apply to the EIC Pathfinder Challenge call? Yes, differently from the Pathfinder Open call. In this challenges call, we can have single entities applying for funding. Single entities that need to be established in a member state or an associate countries. We can have consortia of 2 entities that must be 2 independent legal entities from member state or associated countries. And we can also have a consortium of 3 or more entities that must, that 3 legal entities independent from each other, from 3 different countries, member state or associated countries. So it's very important that at least one of the countries from a member state for consortia of 3 or more, and at least 2 independent legal entities are from member state or associated countries. Sorry. Yes, let's move to the next question. So, to which extent is the involvement of industrial partner mandatory or encouraged? The involvement of industrial partner SMEs is not compulsory for the challenge call, but yeah, we don't have criteria for the consortium or the legal entity participating, but they need to be fit for the purpose. So they need to have the skill, the efficiency to carry on strategies and all the tasks, etc. And it has to be noted that under the second work criteria, that is the impact, is specifically the sub-criteria on the innovation potential. It is mentioned that it's the consortium will be assessed on the which suitable measure will present to involve and empower key actors that have the potential, are able to translating research into innovation. So we need to have some key actors, measure for attracting key actors for pushing the research forward.
Esther, let me take next two
Yes.
questions. How many projects do you expect to fund under this challenge? Okay, I think we are all clear. We have insufficient information to answer that question, but we could make a pretty good estimate. Available budget is 32.7 million euros, and individual requests go as high as 3 million in open and 4 million in challenge calls. So the math is simple. That would depend on amount requested by individual applicants, but under any circumstances may not exceed 32.7 million euros. Then it was another question.
Yes.
But the order is changed now. I don't see it anymore.
Yes, maybe I will try to freeze.
It was about portfolio.
Yes, maybe it's this one. Can you see?
Is the evaluation of a single proposal influenced by the potential relationship with other proposals under evaluation portfolio? Okay, that's excellent question for a Pathfinder Info Day. It's so good. I would actually get back to the presentation and use some of my slides to make a case clear. Okay. Okay. It was about portfolio considerations and phases of evaluation. Up to step 1, I told you, evaluation is based on excellence, implementation, and impact. And in the second phase, it would depend on portfolio consideration. And then we said portfolio considerations are, we would like to cover broad range of food-related health conditions and non-communicable diseases. And I already mentioned a case when we have 10 best projects based on excellence, impact, and implementation, and they all would like to do diabetes. Okay, they are entering the second phase. And then suddenly we see, oh my God, those applications are almost like cloned. They are doing same thing in the same way, and there is no shared component or complementarity. They cannot reinforce other guys, and there is no such thing like portfolio of 10 clone projects. Then we consider list even further, and we see that there is a project with excellent combination of machine learning with observational study or randomized controlled trials, and methodology could be applied in various projects with different scope when it comes to food-related health conditions or NCDs. We have a guy with perfect microbial strain having positive effect on various health conditions. We have a guy with amazing biomarker being useful and possible to implement in other projects. At that point, those projects would go up and create a serious, powerful portfolio in Pathfinder Challenge. I hope that answered the question. It is not about rank based on excellence, impact, and implementation. It is about particular pieces described in portfolio building approach, which are useful to other projects, and they could actually help creating more powerful and more serious portfolio. And I'm stop sharing. Let's move to new questions.
Yes, maybe you can add, Ivan, there is a question. Can you give more details about the difference between portfolio challenge and thematic portfolio, as you mentioned in the beginning of your presentation?
Sure. I already specified just clearly. Challenge portfolio is created from projects in this particular challenge. We have also thematic portfolio. Let me give you my example. I came here, there were no prior food-related challenges, but there were some really good projects in that area. So I created cross-program thematic portfolio agri-food. So those are guys with broad spectrum of very powerful technologies which could be combined efficiently. Meaning they are coming from different area, different programs. There is 2 Pathfinder, 1 transition, 14 accelerators, and they have a lot to give each other, of course, if they decide to cooperate and create new values. So thematic portfolio is not designed by challenge per se. It is designed on particular characteristics of existing projects financed by EIC.
Yes, thank you, Ivan. So the question that we have here is, can we both participate to Pathfinder Open and Pathfinder Challenges? Yes, you can participate. Well, a beneficiary or a consortium can participate to multiple calls, but the double funding should be avoided. So this is something we will check, and you cannot. You cannot ask twice for the same for the same action. So this will need to be checked. Yeah, and also, yeah, as I said, beneficiary or researcher can participate in and different proposal. But of course, if all proposals are funded, that also the double funding of these activities and this task will be checked.
I think the next question is also for me. I see somewhat connection between first and third question. Let me answer the third first. It seems that this challenge is not intended to develop new products or technology. If so, which kind of IP business plan should be included on the proposal? Okay, let me tell you, we are talking about Pathfinder. It is really low technology readiness level. It's far, far away from the market. So it is very nice. It's appropriate to consider a business development, but you are not just ready to do that. We would like to confirm your concept first and see, does your radical idea really works in lab environment? Could we pursue checking the commercial path? So it's too early. And having that in mind, so IP business plan is still not so important at that phase. And then the question, what would be the final TRL? Yeah, that would depend on the project. The whole thing is for TRL levels 1 to 3. So we don't know what you would achieve during your project. I know if you go toward clinical validation, yeah, it takes longer. I know. We are fully aware of that. But you still have time to, if preliminary results are promising, you still have some time in transition program to develop that even further. Oh, yeah, that was the question I found, and then it was lost. How is portfolio activities funded? Within the project or via booster grant? Okay, let's do not go back to the slide, do not forget. But on do not forget slide was include a very special work package of 10 months for portfolio activities. So this is the first part of the answer. Yes, within the project with the special dedicated work package of 10 months. And then if some additional activities are to be deployed, executed, then we have booster grant as additional tool, additional instrument, but that would depend on real need and approval. Okay, Esther, next two questions are really on procedural things. I think there's rebuttal procedures and minimum company size is all yours.
Before, sorry. So how the rebuttal procedure work in practice. So as you saw from Ivan's slide, the evaluation procedure is structured in two steps, sorry. And the first step is the assessment of each proposal separately, and the novelty that we adding to this step is to integrate the rebuttal procedure. The rebuttal procedure is the right you have to react to the assessment that the EIC experts will make to the proposal. So more or less between 1.5 months and 2.5 months after the closing of the call, you will receive the comments from us, the comments coming from the experts from this first step of the evaluation procedure, and you will have the right to react to these comments within 8 calendar days And this right to react cannot be used to alter or add content to your proposal, but will strictly focus on responding to potential misunderstanding and errors made by the evaluator. So the novelty is this rebuttal phase is integrated to the first step of the evaluation procedure. And so the comments that you will submit, you're not obliged to submit comments. If you wish to submit comments, you can. These comments that you will send us will made available to the evaluation committee that will handle the second step of the evaluation procedure, the portfolio considerations. So yes, I think I replied to your question. The question if is there a minimum company size to be able to submit a project? So I said a single entity can submit can individually participate to this call. They shouldn't be mid caps or large companies. So not really. I don't know. It's always depends from the consortia or the beneficiary needs to be fit for the purpose. So needs to be able to carry on the project and the task efficiently, but not only. Yeah. So the next question maybe is for you, Ivan. If a project in agri-food area is submitted and selected under Pathfinder Open Call, will be integrated in the thematic portfolio, challenge portfolio? This maybe is for me. I don't know. Yep.
The answer. So if it's submitted in open, it cannot end up in challenge portfolio, but it can end up in thematic portfolio if the scope of the project is aligned with the theme of the thematic portfolio.
Okay.
I think we answered those questions. Somehow they are still with us.
Okay. So the thematic and challenge portfolio explanation was not clear, Ivan. So
Okay.
maybe we can provide a written reply. Just sorry, Ivan, for information. If you have any direct question for us, ISMEA staff or project program manager, please contact the research inquiry service and not us directly. So there is a page in, you can Google it and you can submit your question there and will be forwarded to us. Or your national contact point if you have need more information about how or information or support on how to submit your proposal.
Cover business and portfolio activities. This is not represented here with activities moved to project budget of work package of 10 months. Okay, so those things are not designed to exclude each other. If you are selected and you are entering challenge portfolio, you should include this work package of 10 months. But that doesn't mean you are not eligible for additional booster grants during the duration of the project. So booster grants still have their purpose and procedures.
Question?
But I would say this question is actually more for accelerator than a Pathfinder. It is not about companies, it is about universities, research institutes, or consortia of such, where capital is...
This is not relevant for our call, yeah.
Yes. But that could be checked in general info day of the accelerator.
Also, if you need more information of the Pathfinder challenge call and also the open call, you find a very useful information and recording from the EIC General Info Day that was held on the 13th of December. The link we have added this link to the invitation that.
Yeah, it's already in the chat box. Okay, I'm so glad we answered all the questions, and I know there are some people anxious to present their case and inspire potential partners to join the consortia. And I would say it's time to move to the next session. It is about pitch presentations, and that would be moderated by Juliana. Juliana, the floor is yours.
Okay, the first presentation will be done by Dr. Luca Merlino. Luca?
Hi, everybody. Can I start?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Luca Merlino, and I'm informal partner of a research and study group
I have to tell, I see some talking is going on, but we don't receive audio. Could you please check?
I hear everything, Ivan. I hear everything. Okay, I will resume again. So, Luca,
Yeah.
I will start this from the, please start from the beginning. You have 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Luca Merlino, and I'm informal partner of a research and study group of Professor Gianluca Caruso of the University of Naples, Federico II. In these days, we are working on the opening of a universitary spin-off named Meta-C Algae, with the aim of researching and producing dry weight biomass from which it could be possible to extract, for example, and formulate new product protected by royalty from new strain of microalgae. Campania rivers, Campania lakes, and Mediterranean Sea. The main risk in this research is the uncertain opportunity to find microalgae with industrial benefit, but in this case we will reconvert the plant to other microalgae with demonstrated production characteristics to obtain back the money invested in the project. Our research group has collected in the years various international studies on microalgae. We close different informal agreements with different private partners with the aim to give them the right of first refusal. We are projecting a new photobioreactor based on recycled materials and high-tech technologies able to reduce the cost of the first pilot plant. Alternatively, we highlight new models of photobioreactor with full option technology, and the price range from 500 euro to 1,005 euro. As second step of our research, we are going to characterize the new strain thanks to high throughput screening technology to rediscover the nutritional heritage of the collected microalgae. In this way, we will be able to work on the improvement of the medium to increase the biomass production, and also we will determine which and how much compounds can be produced in our microalgae. The last step of our research goal is to combine.
Thank you, Luca. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks to you.
So the next project is Welcome To and will be presented by Karsten Kauberg. Karsten, the floor is yours.
Okay, so hello, my name is Carsten Karbeck. I'm ERA Chair for Nutrigenomics at the Polish Academy of Science in Olsztyn. And I'm talking shortly about vitamin D. Next slide, please. Vitamin D is, for everyone north of Malta, so nearly everyone in Europe, something we should supplement for a couple of months in Europe. And what we did on the basis of a vitamin D intervention study, as you see here, the result that we can segregate individuals into high, green, mid, yellow, and low responders to vitamin D. So the main question is how much vitamin D we should take every winter. So we developed on that basis a so-called vitamin D response index. Next slide. So the core of the idea is in two steps. In the red part, you see the molecular part where on the level of epigenomic and transcriptomic investigations, we determine on one side the molecular basis of this vitamin D response index and also allow to develop a number of biomarkers who easily can detect who is high, mid, or low responders. With this knowledge of being high, low, mid responders, we can make personalized suggestions for supplementation of vitamin D to have, look on the blue part, the full clinical benefit of vitamin D for bone health, muscle strength, a good immune system, and also cancer prevention. So basically what we want to do is combining fundamental research with an important medical question. Thank you.
Thank you, Carsten. Next project will be presented by Dalila. Dalila, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Dalila Zoutmarnish. I'm professor in AgroParisTech, and I make my research in a mixed unit of research within EIC, which is physiology of nutrition and food behavior. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'm a leader of the team APREM, and our research focused on the effect of protein intake, both on quality and quantity of protein intake on health, and both on protein metabolism, but also on energy metabolism and metabolic dysfunction. And we develop and we search urinary biomarkers to define individual sensitivity to the diets and to identify metabolic dysfunction. Next slide, please. This is one example of our research that was published on carbohydrate sensitive model using rat as model. And you can see in the picture at the right side that in this model, even if rats have no body weight change, they develop more adiposity, whereas the resistant animals have less fat accumulation. And this is due to a lower oxidation of and digestion of starch, as you can see in the lower pictures, using 13C starch and indirect calorimetry. And in the right side, you can see that these animals secrete less amylase. So we want now to understand what is the sensitivity and the mechanism involved in the sensitivity to low protein diet and low quality of protein intake, and to develop and to identify biomarkers to detect this sensitivity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next project will be presented by Patrick Veiga. Patrick.
Hello. So do you know that out of 9 individuals, only 1 will respond to probiotic? This is an average, but this is true for a lot of probiotics today on the market or in development. So this has terrible consequences in terms of for the probiotic developers who will face poor reproducibility in their clinical trials because sometimes they will have responders in the clinical trials and other times they won't. Of course, this will lead to frustration among consumers, and it's not on the slide, but also it's a loss of money and a lack of impact from a public health perspective. So evidence today lead us to develop precision probiotics to stratify people, pairing probiotic with the best responders to have better reproducibility in clinical trials, better consumer experience, and better public health too. So next slide, please. So, this is a perspective that I published a few years ago in Nature Microbiology. When I was working for a probiotic company, I recently moved to INRAE Public Institute, where I'm heading a lab working on microbiome, and we are launching today the French gut. So we have microbiome capabilities that may interest people of the consortium or people here in this call. To move from probiotics to precision probiotics, of course, this needs to be data-driven, science-driven, and we need a multidisciplinary approach. And here, the competences and the skills that are on this slide are the ones that we need. So I'm making a call here to people listening to me. If you are interested in trying to make this vision a reality, please contact me and we can see what we can build. If you are a probiotic supplier, probiotic expertise, if you have a precision nutrition platform, data scientist, or microbiome sequencing capability, you are highly interesting for me. So please come to me and find me, and I will be happy to discuss to see what we can do together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick. The next presentation will be done by Frederick. Frederick, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. My name is Frederik Trier Møller. I'm representing Statens Serum Institute at Copenhagen, Denmark. We have in Copenhagen built a GDPR-compliant e-consent solution that enables us to collect near real-time consumer digital receipts or purchases from around, at the moment, 400 households. We expect to expand that. We are able to enrich and categorize these purchases using several food and product databases. And we can link those consumer exposures to household and individual health outcomes. Next slide, please. We believe that this will enable us to analyze how consumer food ingredients, food technology processes and additives, and dietary patterns affects our health, being negative or beneficial. As a Mayer Research and Public Health Institute, our goal is to translate the findings that we find on any beneficial or consumer effects of consumer purchases to individualized public health advice, and hopefully help you understand how your everyday purchases affect your health. You can see an example on the lower right-hand side where we have looked at, for instance, food additives, and you could imagine making some nice suggestions towards consumer health based on that. We would, of course, like to partner with other institutions or SMEs that use the same or supplementary approaches, or who could help make a nice portfolio or a grant application. If you think this is a nice proposal, you're very welcome to contact me on the contact information in the lower left-hand corner. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Frederick. The last project is hologenomics and will be presented by David. David, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm David, and I'm here today to introduce our company, Hologenomics, which is a spin-off from Delft University of Technology here in the Netherlands. Our mission is to unlock the secrets hidden within microbiome samples to provide insights across a variety of fields, including human health, nutrition, and agriculture, among others. The focus is to unlock the link between gut health and the nutrients and supplements that we consume. Next slide, please. Just to put it simple, our edge lies in the combination of bioinformatics, which includes precise metagenomics, and machine learning. Our technology provides a comprehensive and more accurate view of the microorganisms present in our samples, giving us a deeper understanding of the impact on the environment, patients' health, and food quality. With our analysis, we want to improve the understanding of how nutrition impacts our gut microbiome and overall health. And this is thanks to the algorithms that we have developed in-house, allowing us to analyze metagenomic data to identify new and better biomarkers. For this Pathfinder grant, we would love to partner with labs with expertise in nutrition and nutrigenomics, as I said here on the right, as well as experts in the fields of the gut microbiome and medical doctors. So if you are interested in this partnership or have a different topic you think we can collaborate with, we will be glad to hear from you. You can contact us in info@hologenomics.nl. Thank you very much for your time and consideration, and we look forward to working with interesting partners and making difference in human health. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, David. Thanks a lot to everyone who did the presentations. Ivan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jenny. Interesting proposals. We came to closure a little bit sooner, but this is not a problem. Anne-Marie, final remarks of the Info Day.
Yeah, I want to thank you also for your interest in attending this Info Day, for your questions. I also want to thank the companies presenting their ideas or their pitches on what they can do for proposal as an initial step in matchmaking for consortia. There were several questions around the portfolio management, and I think that's the most important change or difference between Pathfinder open calls and then these Pathfinder challenge calls. So if your topic is in scope of the precision nutrition, how Ivan explained it, and you will be selected as part of the portfolio, you will then also be working together with the other projects that are selected in the portfolio to do some common activities which can be beneficial for all of you. And that can really speed up your development for products and services in this area. The other question that was there quite often was that indeed, when we are evaluating the proposals, the fact that we have this portfolio approach makes it also that we are allowed to deviate from the initial ranked list, which is based on a score. So in the initial ranked list, we have the score of every proposal. And normally in other parts of Horizon, the ones that then we select for funding, it will be the highest scoring proposals. But in this case, we will select a portfolio of projects that, first of all, cover diversity of diseases that Ivan explained, but also that all these projects have something in common together so that they really have a reason to work together in the future. And so these two elements that we want to cover, different proposals, and we want to find projects that have a reason to work together in the portfolio, that are the two reasons how we select the portfolio in the end. And so when you write a good proposal, it also indeed depends on other proposals, what they are proposing in the end, what will be the proposals that are selected as part of the portfolio. So that's a different approach, but it should bring a lot of advantages to the projects that are in the end selected. So I also wanted to say, when you are starting to prepare your proposal, you will probably get many more questions. So all these questions you can ask to your national contact point, or you can use the research inquiry service, which is on the participant portal. But please do not contact Ivan directly. He will not be able to answer your questions, first of all, because he's just a single person, but also that would favor, that way he can give some information to some proposers which others are not knowing. So that would make the whole system unfair, and therefore we don't do that. So please, when you have more questions, use your national contact point or the inquiry service. So with this, Ivan, I don't know if you want to add another last word.
Just two things. Today we started matchmaking. 6 institutions presented their offers and requests. I could tell we have a powerful network, business network. It's Enterprise Europe Network, which can help you in creating partners you are still missing. Enterprise Europe Network would allow you to search business partners, technology partners, and research partners. So put your requests on research, asking partners, and exactly describe what you are missing. It works the other way around. When you're offering services, you can tell, okay, we are considering Pathfinder application challenge precision nutrition. We are offering this and that. That way, you could possibly find very suitable partners for your consortium. And then what you were saying, Anne-Marie, about challenge considerations is important. And it seems like, oh, it would depend on others. But I would put that different way. It would depend on you, actually. What shared component you are offering to others? Are you in possession of know-how when it comes to biomarkers, ingredients, processes? Clearly indicate this is shared component that could be used by others, and then your evaluation is definitely more favorable because it's clear what's the shared component. So pay attention to cover area, NCDs, or food-related health conditions. Pay attention to having all required components of your research, and definitely about shared components. By defining that clearly, I would say would definitely work for you. And by saying that, I think we covered most questions. It is now to study all documents, check general info day for Pathfinder, and start working on preparing consortium application. Anne-Marie, back to you.
Okay, well, nothing more to say. Yeah. So thank you all very much. Have a nice evening. And we hope to receive your very good proposals. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.